While we making our dollars, a lot of things don't make sense. Life gotta be way more than hookah tips and paying the rent. On this podcast, we discuss those few moments that we find our clarity.
I like, you making money? Cut me in.
Not the only. You said I control my girl OnlyFans. I got computer work. Is that Freddie? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of Moment of Clarity. It's your boy Cito Blanqui. Don't never miss a free throw, live and direct. I got now, don't care who got next. And this is an episode of Moment of Clarity. I ain't gonna hold you, like, I love films. I love production. But one thing I love is like conversations that art starts. And after watching this trailer, I was just kind of like, this is something that we need to talk about in a major way. Because I think, like, life should be a reflection of art. Before I go on my tangent, who I got in the studio with me?
Oh, I'll go first, ladies first. Everyone, it is Malaya B from the Bronx.
Know that.
And my baby daddy.
Mike Flo, man, you already know. CMB.
Okay. Got the co-stars in the building.
Yeah.
Hold on. All right, so what was the hardest day on set? Let's just start right there. Let's just get it out the way.
The hardest day was on set was the first day when he was late. Again.
I really wasn't late, though.
He was late. That's like the hardest. That's the hardest day on set.
Was it fashionably late or was it just kind of like Jamaican late?
It was.
How late was it?
It was. It was.
I was on time. I just wasn't early. Early is on time. On time is late. So,
the first day was the hardest day because it also was the longest production day. It was a 12-hour production day.
Okay.
And I started at like 7 in the morning because I had to pick up my niece who plays my daughter in the film. So I woke up at like 7 and we were starting production at 9. And like I had like every location, every scene, like timestamp. So I knew like where I needed to be at this time, where I needed to be at that time, who was shooting at this time. And we were on time. Like I was like, oh bitch, you good. Like you good.
So you feel like you mapped it out, everything was on point.
Right.
And
then we had to shoot the outside scene, which was going to then pivot us like out here, like, you know, because we shot that by
so everything was shot in the Bronx?
The apartment part is shot in Yonkers because that's where I live, so I use like my apartment for that, but everything else was shot in the Bronx. And then so the second scene was his scene, and was that corn?
No, I'm good. I'm good. It's good.
So the second scene was the first outside scene, but second scene was his. And he was like, he's getting uptowns and he got to get this and then that. And I'm just like, we don't have to show your feet. Like, can you just bring the feet here? So, yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to me. So, like, I don't know. It didn't seem long. It was fun.
It wasn't long? Because you was late.
Yeah, it really seemed long. I was there all day. I was there all day, but
it was a. So do you feel like being in so many music videos prepared you to be on screen? I mean, an actor.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know, they say that, not to interrupt you. They say, well, not they say, but I've seen an interview with Joey Badass and I think Method Man, where they said like it's easier to be like a musician and go into acting as opposed to being like an actor and then trying to go into music.
Yeah, I feel like it's easier that way too.
No, I feel like I think in most situations, I think being an artist preps you for everything else.
Right.
Because you understand being a camera, you understand how to deal with people, you understand how to deal with the money. Like every aspect of it, it's almost like you graduate the easier parts.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Because them shows is a lot of energy. I know you know that. Like it's a whole bunch of energy.
That's crazy. I like doing shows. Like that's why I was like, when it comes to like camera and shit, I was like natural. Like it's cool. It's cool. Like I be excited for real.
I must say, he did an amazing job.
Okay,
like,
okay.
I think
throw,
like
throw
people.
The claps in there.
I think that like when everyone, to be honest with you, like even though it's like my film and like no one knows me for like writing and producing and like doing like big content. Like this is my first thing, but this is like actually like my passion. It's always been. And like he's obviously been in music and like he's done music videos and people like know him like for that. But I think like when they see like how good I think people are like more excited to see him than to see me. I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like people are like, I gotta see like how did he do it? Because who else do we know that's like rapping like locally or as a musician locally that is also tapping into something.
Yeah, so okay,
like in media, like there's fashion, there's other things, but like who is rapping, doing music, and now saying, okay, I'm gonna take that art, but it's gonna be in a different form.
The transition was real.
The transition, I think it's a great transition.
I seen the clip. I ain't gonna hold you. Like when you pulled up and you passed it off to the auntie, that was like the best acting I've seen. That pass off to the auntie was just like, you know, that look. Because you didn't make eye contact with her. You just kind of like, yo, you about to wear this one. I'm going to go do what I got to do. Right, the only issue is like, you had the whole stack. You gave her like $5.
Oh, my God.
I was like,
when they saw that part?
Yeah. When they see that part, I know so many women are going to be like.
I just had to, feel me, like, make it funny. I know people going to see that and be like, bro.
That was his idea, too.
Maybe people that's really like that, though. Like, you know,
no, but
that'd be like, have all this money and be like, bro, like, how you gonna eat though? Or like,
but the wild part is this: it's the simple things. I think like we won't get into the title, but that overemphasizes the title. Right. Like in that aspect, because I think there's moments when people look at lack of being a father in the sense of lack of resources. That's not the case all the time. Right. Like sometimes there are fathers that have resources.
Oh my God.
It's more the mentality of just kind of like, yo, I'm about to give you 2%, and I'm gonna take this 98 and go do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that's even worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, no, that's definitely worse.
So it creates a different narrative where it's important to emphasize that. In a lot of different ways, because people want to live a lifestyle, but it's like your kids should live the lifestyle as well.
You got it for everything except
for the things you should really have it for.
Right.
Yeah. Like, so I think that's one of the most important things. So obviously the title is the title, but what made you come up with the title?
So I wanted it to be like obvious, like slightly. It is. I feel like it's overly obvious, but I wanted it to be obvious about what it was going to be about. Because I wanted people to see it automatically and be like, oh, nah. Like, I got to see what this is about. Because I feel like so many women can relate to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, my baby father's a deadbeat. My baby father's a deadbeat. My brother's a deadbeat. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so many women. And, like, I've seen people's business on Twitter, Instagram, like, telling stories about, like, how their child's father is, sending screenshots. And I'm like, yo, this can't be real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know people who are like, yeah, he's just saying like, well, what am I gonna do? Or like, you were just in Vegas last week, like, why do you need $500? And it's like, what does me in Vegas got to do with you? Two questions. Do you think like the men that are deadbeats know they're deadbeats? Yes.
You really think so? Do you think so? Because I don't.
Speaking from one now, I'm just playing. Nah, I don't know.
And he's not. That's also like really cool because he's really not a deadbeat father. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess like you got to know, like, if you smell somebody, you gonna smell yourself, right? If you stink, you gonna know you stink before we do it. You gotta smell yourself. Yeah. So I'm sure, like, if you know you doing bum, like, and being a bum, or you're not handling your business, I know you. They see it for sure. Like, you have to see it, and then but people just got this. It's kind of a tunnel vision where they just
blinded by it. They can't
like,
see
it. Whatever.
Yeah.
So also, why do you think men are deadbeats? Like, do you think it's a character flaw? Do you think it's like how they were raised? Do you think it's just because naturally there's moments like if something is a high statistic even in business, you got to figure out what's the why to what's happening. So I think like it's such a common thing, and so many stories we know. There has to be a formula that's happening in society that's making men feel like it's either acceptable or the result is them being a deadbeat. And I like, do you think, why you think that is?
I mean, from what I'm seeing, I think it's like, it's layered. I feel like there's so many layers to it. I think like a part of it could come from what they saw or lack of what they saw in their household. Mm-hmm. I think a part of it also comes from jealousy, like from their child's, not from, but like they're the one that's jealous of their child's mother.
Okay.
I think some of it is something that you were kind of touching on earlier, like when a woman has the baby is not the focus. Oh, yeah. And prior to the baby,
man is not the priority no more.
He's not the priority anymore. So I never thought about it in that way, but I could see how someone might feel like, damn, like I'm not getting any attention. Like I'm out. Like you want the baby, now you got it. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Or lack of what they saw in their household. They didn't grow up with a father, so they feel like, well, if my mom did it by herself, like so can you. Like I know of someone that told me that a man told her, like my mom did it by herself, you know.
And I feel like that too, like because I guess like people go off the love that they receive. So like you love the way you was taught how to love. Like so like so some people just I know people like personally know people that like their parents wasn't affecting and they don't really show them that love. They don't show. They love them. They don't love them less, but they just don't show it. So it's like some people and some people just like that's just how I was raised. Like you don't gotta show it. If I really love you, like you feel me. If we know this, so I don't really gotta show it all the time. So some people like that too, though.
It's wild because we talk about love languages, relationships, but like that parent love language is different.
Yeah, for sure.
Because certain parents, like I got like my father, he's just like, oh, yo, you want this? Cool. Like he gonna give you gifts.
Yeah, but he not about to sit up there. And
quality time, all that other affirmations. Like yo, it's quiet for that. Like yo, y'all, like you know what I'm saying. He not with none of that. But you want some? All right, go on, go get it, and that's it.
That's how you show love. So people show love different ways. That's what I meant to say. Like people show love different ways. Like
I never thought about it
different ways. So.
I never thought about it in that way either. Like they probably still because I've also seen it where like they had their mother and their father, and they just like I'm just not doing this. So it's like. It could be like even though we had both parents in the household, like you said, they weren't affectionate. So, I don't. Yeah.
But also like the reason that people have kids. I remember like watching this like psychologist talking about like the energy that your parents are on when you're born is kind of what you adopt. So it's kind of like I know my pops was partying crazy when he made me. Because niggas be outside. Like, none of my siblings be outside. Like
really, except for you?
Yeah. And then when I go and I like talk to I literally talk to my dad like what you was on. He's like, I ain't gonna lie, I caught a raise. I was living. I got a car I always wanted. Like, when I was born, my dad literally put me in the car and just drove to Boston and drove back to see how fast his car was. Like, shit like that. Yeah. So, like, now, like, you know, we just came from Philly and show for you last night. Like, I'm on the road, nigga. I'm beating that shit.
Yeah.
Like, so, it's kind of like, it's like there's certain things that are in our genetics that come from our parents that we don't necessarily realize it. And there's a lot of people that I see make kids that the kid is formulated or created in spite sometimes.
Right.
And it's not actually from a space of just genuine connection.
That's crazy.
And as the relationship builds with these parents, you realize it's kind of like, sometimes women have kids because like, well, I got you. Now I'm gonna put you on child. Now I'm gonna kind of. And sometimes men be like, I'm gonna trap you.
Yeah.
And they trap them and be like, now I'm gonna make sure your life is this way.
This way, yeah.
So I think the energy and the source in which we create the kids go a long way too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because we talk about the trauma bonding, but like that actual space of like the seed hitting the ovary, that energy is a whole different aspect. So. All right, so let's talk about the aunties, right? let's talk about the aunties, the uncles, the babysitters,
the sisters,
the grandmoms. Cause it's a different age. Grandmas is outside.
Grandmas are outside for real.
Grandmas is party.
Yo, grandmas is in the spot. Like, listen, this hookah ain't hitting. I need another call. Ain't not with nothing. Like
grandmas last night.
Oh yeah, there was a couple grandmas at the show last night.
Really?
Shout out to the grandmas.
Listen, I ain't gonna hold you. Like aunties and grandmas love that poetry shit. They be outside.
Yeah, wow.
They be buying the books. They be like, "What y'all doing, sweetheart? What's going on?"
Sweetheart.
They'll sweetheart you to death. They not playing. They trying to sugar mom anything. You know what I'm saying? But that's a conversation for a different day. I think, like they say, it take a village to raise a kid. But what happens when like the lack of being present wears the village out? Like sometimes, like the aunties gotta wear more than is necessary.
Yeah,
and it creates a space of how do people get the energy that they supposed to necessarily like get what's their part of it? Because once the dad is not there, or he's quote unquote being a deadbeat, like everything gets transferred on everybody else.
Yeah,
and it's interesting because it's like some aunties will love you for it, but I got aunties to this day that we don't got a good connection. And I'm like, yeah, I can tell you took care of me when you want me to.
You don't, yeah.
Because like now it creates a space where kids are in environments that they don't feel wanted.
Yeah,
and it's not even their fault. And now it creates a different space of how do we keep kids in an environment in which that they need to grow and evolve and be wanted.
Yeah. I mean, like, going back to just, like, somewhat like of a personal situation, like my mom, when she had, like, my younger sister and my younger brother, I kind of felt like I became, like, a young mom because he was doing whatever he wanted to do. Like, it's weird, but they were together, but he was just outside. You know what I'm saying? So she's working, and her easiest thing to say is like, "Oh, okay, like can you just watch him until I come home?" You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna go do what he wants to do. And she had my brother when I was 12. And when I look back now, I don't think if I had a kid right now, I would not leave my kid with a 12-year-old. I would not leave my kid with a 12-year. Like what I'm seeing right now, like my little brother's 11. I cannot imagine him just babysitting a baby. Like I was giving my brother medicine. I was changing his diaper at 12 years old. Then she had my sister at 16, and then it was two of them. And I remember like being in the house with them on the weekends, and I'm like, okay, he's not potty trained yet, and she's still a baby. So I'm like changing diapers like
really
all day while she's at work, and I'm 16. So like you said, like when the father is absent, everybody else has to now take his responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So
do you feel like if you were a boy, your mom would have did that?
She wouldn't, because like my brother left him to death, but he just at that age he wasn't as mature as I was to babysit. You know, women normally have like that nurture. So she knew I knew what to do. Like, but
I think we unpacking layers, because at young ages we allow women to deal with kids and be prepared for it,
right?
And we kind of tell the boys, just go do what y'all do,
right? And
then we expect them to be grown men one day and be able to tap in. So it kind of gets to a space of like how we're being raised. We're not preparing these young men to be around kids.
That's true.
Even when it comes to changing your brothers or your niece or your nephews, we playing 2K.
Yeah.
And your sister gotta go change the pamper.
That's true.
Or gotta go warm a bottle up.
Yeah.
So eventually, when y'all get to a big age, you don't feel foreign to y'all. Like the first time, like sometimes you gotta hold a baby, like you cry for, like chill, bro. Like to be a big man. But if I was holding, like I've been with my cousins for young, so I can hold a baby now and be like, you gotta do a little gaga boo boo, like create your little game and all that. Mm-hmm. But men, I realized that like a lot of men aren't used to being around children.
Yeah, and they're uncomfortable. They're like, no, I don't want to break it. Like, I don't want
to. Even when I first had my daughter, like I was scared to hold her.
Yeah, you like,
I was scared to hold her. Like, nah, I'm good. Like fragile. And then I was even more scared to hold her in front of her grandparents, like my baby mom's parents. Like I was just feeling like, well, maybe I'll do something wrong, and this is my whole kid, but I'm acting like it's their kid. Like,
it's the pressure. It's the pressure.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Too, like,
nah, that shit is like, it's like doing your homework in front of your professor or something.
Yeah. And then it's like like you said, like getting back to you saying like they give a little girl the responsibility, but they won't give a little boy. But it's like when they come 21 and they having their own kids, it's a foreign language to them.
100% foreign language.
So that makes sense.
And even in that, like,
and they used to seeing their sisters and aunts take care of it, so they like that's all they know. Like, well,
that's their job.
Yeah, hold this.
Nah, for real though. Nah, it's a real talk.
Go a couple dollars. I know that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, like and that goes to that space too. And also biologically, the woman connects with that child from the day it's in her ovary.
Yeah,
like the kicks, all of that. You more like, all right, if you around trying to like, you good, you all right. Like, your body stay the same.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, you wake up and you like, nigga, I'm me. Like, you always you.
You don't feel it.
You don't feel nothing. You ain't get no stretch mark. You ain't getting no nothing.
So the connection is a little different unless you like.
Unless you really, really. I don't know, like the movies and shit. You all
like
them breathing classes and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Singing to the baby.
Yeah, I
want to do that though.
I'm guilty though.
I mean, as you should have.
You heard niggas, I'm guilty of that.
As you should have, you know.
That's what it should be.
And look at y'all have a really good relationship, like, you know what I'm saying? So it makes sense.
I wanted to say like, unless you me. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, talk that shit. Like that's what it is. Like I think good fathers need to talk their shit.
Yeah, sure,
because
definitely.
it's not something that's necessarily. I feel like we give we don't give the love to at times. Like nobody like
you know. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, like I feel like the generations change those because like the thing like it's a lot of dads doing a lot of dad stuff though. Like nowadays, like.
And I was gonna to say that like praising the men that are doing it is like okay, cool, and then like it should be a norm, but it's not. So I also kind of see like when women have children and like their child's father does something, it's almost like, oh my god, like he warmed up the bottle, or like, oh my god, like he picked her up from school, and it's like you're praising him for something that's very minimal, like that's what he's supposed to do. Like I'm not, and just like not even like with dating, like I also see with women like, oh my god, he bought me flowers, and it's like not to be like shallow, but like you're excited, like you're tweeting about flowers, like
it should be a standard. You're right.
I mean, if he bring you some long stem, that's different. But if he
hold on, so Friday flowers ain't valid? I can't get the
like, what's the difference between long stem? Because he spent a little extra $1, $2.
I ain't gonna lie, them long stems is just a different type of grip, bro.
Or even the like just because I'm not shallow, but I'm just saying like
set your price with your life.
Right.
Set your price with your life.
I'm talking like what's long stem?
Nah, listen.
They're long.
Listen,
the roses that's
like old.
You gotta carry. You gotta carry like a baby.
What?
See, he said. See what he said. That's not regular. It's supposed to be regular.
I'm keeping funky with you though.
Like all the time, gang.
I don't.
You wavy.
Nobody's ever taught me how to buy flowers.
Exactly.
So
Like this is my like that's what I'm saying. Like even on some big man, I've been around one my whole life. My aunt, my mom, my sister. Nobody never said you need a florist.
My brother,
you need to go. Like this ain't nobody taught me what cologne. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we be wanting men to be men, but nobody be teaching men how to be men, and that's what I think. That's a lot of what goes towards it.
That's what it be like for real. Like especially if you got and then sometimes like people that's raised by their mom, you know their mom gonna spoil their kids, so they doing a lot of things for people too. Like so it be like it's just like I don't know.
You don't know if it's like real or
so it almost become like it almost becomes like the natural, the norm. Like, all right, women, you take care of the kid. And I'll run the streets. That's just how history goes. That's how the book is written on. So like that's people fall into that instead of saying like, oh, we gonna switch it up and we just do it together.
Just do it. I should do it together. I think it should. It's easier. Like I think men also don't realize like it really is not that hard. Like not, I don't want to say it like that, but I'm just saying like being active. Like I remember like one day I was walking home and this boy was arguing on the phone with their mother and he was like, I just want to see her. Like I just want to see her. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, damn, like what is it? And like, yo, bro, this Mac, I don't give her no money. Like, bro, I don't got it. And I'm just like, damn, like if he's saying like, yo, I'll take her, you feel me? But I can't give you, I don't have it to give you. You're gonna keep my child from me because I can't afford to take care of. But it's like y'all remember y'all both got in it together. So yes, naturally the kid is with you, but like, are you really gonna stop him from like even coming around? There are other cases where like he'll do it sometimes, but like I'm just saying like in that moment I see women do that too. Like you're just mad because he can't afford it, but he couldn't afford it when you was laying down with him, and like which is you know what I'm saying? Like what changed?
A resentment sometimes is formed in that aspect because I'll be honest like. When I was younger, like, and I was just shooting clubs up, I'm just like, boy, like...
You were doing what?
Like, I'm just sitting back, looking back, like, you was wilding, bro. Like, you had no business. Like, you even had the facilities to take care of that, big man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, now, I to the same space, like, I think there's a certain standard you're talking about with dating and how we court women or whatever, but there's also a standard in which we need to prepare, like, yo... When you run a 900, bro, you need to understand what that may come with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or even like, I got like 26 so to understand like the ovulating cycles and when she gets
pregnant. You better learn
you know what I'm saying?
Like, I just had to study a little bit.
Because you need to understand these things. Like when you're younger, you thinking like, dang, any given day, I know there, bro, she get pregnant. It's like, nah, that's not really the case. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's certain windows in which you need to. So I think we need to be more informative of that thing so people know what they're really getting into. Like, like yo, bro, you gonna shoot the color Cooper? Wait till she not ovulating. You know what I'm saying? Like try to like
some ABs.
Exactly.
Or Plan Bs.
Or Plan Bs.
Nah, it helps you in that aspect. Sure. But to the point y'all saying is that how the baby's in your body, how men have to connect to that baby is different because basically it's foreign to you. Right. Like it's like one day like life is good, then you just got like a little baby that's in front of you. Like hold on, like you look like me, you crying all the time, you can't even talk. Like you can't even talk. You just keep looking at me like yo, like the world is yours and I want to give it to you and I don't even know how to do it right now. Yeah. And now it's like, dang, like hold on, like a part of me feel like I just lost my girl because now my girl's whole objective is to take care of this baby. So now it's not just me and my girl, it's me, my girl, and this baby. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it takes a hit to a man's ego. I'm not gonna lie, like inadvertently, like I don't got kids, but I've seen it. Like it kind of gets to a space when it's like there's days you used to pull up and be like, yeah, it's about to be a good night.
And she's like,
I'm tired all the time. And
it's a whole different other.
It's like, damn, bro.
I think,
and then you gotta wait after you give birth to like 6 weeks or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
so
like then and what is it? Is it postpartum?
They get postpartum.
Oh, that's real.
Yo, that's a real, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a real thing, too.
When
like,
baby leave their body, they be like...
Nah, it's a different type of...
crying and shit.
Yeah, it's a... So I think, like, even just having the emotional intelligence to deal with that emotionally is a lot. Yeah. And I think it goes to, like, we put in the email, like, the toughness. Yeah. Like, at times it creates this different dynamic because intimacy is viewed different ways. Yeah. A lot of times, men, at times, we may view, like, physical contact as intimacy. Yeah. So when we can't get that at times, we feel like, damn, I'm not connected to you. But ways to be intimate in other ways. And then when women feel like, dang, now I got to take care of this physically, mentally, spiritually, financially. And then now he's trying to like love on me when he want to. It creates a whole different dynamic, which at times I feel like so many times melanated women get the tough title of being tough or being rough. And a lot of these circumstances cause them to create these walls. Yeah. And... Okay.
I'm my fault. I was saying, like, I feel like the responsibility of having a child, it puts pressure on women. Like, they feel like just the thought of it, like, damn, I have a child. you never hear a woman say, "Oh, like
We.
rarely but they know it's my
like
child."
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
Yeah, because so it's like they feel like they take that pressure just off the thought of it. Like, oh, I have a baby. Like, I have to do this. I have to make sure, even if they thought it's already like, even if he decides not to.
Yeah, it's even
you have
that forms a extra little anger and towards you too. Like without them even knowing
and anxiety.
So it's like, and then that creates stuff. So
it's yeah. I mean, I think like especially like. I'm not gonna lie, like just like in my friend group having conversations, like even if like you're in a good relationship, it's like, yo, if I get pregnant or, you know, like I wanna have kids or if it does happen, it's like, yo, you really gotta have your kid for you. Like as a woman, like, you know, you just have to have the baby for you. Like you gotta be prepared financially, like in case you don't have that second parent, you gotta prepare you know, also physically, like people being there to support you, like having a good support system. Like if you don't have a big family or support group of friends, then it's going to be hard for you to have someone say, hey, can you watch him or her while I go to school? Or can you watch him while I go to work or whatever? If you don't have that, then that becomes an issue now with your kid. Like, it's just a lot. So I agree, like, as a woman, like, you got to think about that. Like, yo, what if I'm prepared for me? Like, I have to check all my boxes off. Because if he decide one day he would wake up and not do it, and it's crazy that we think like that, but it's like, if my friend was like, yo, girl, I'm pregnant. I don't care what friend it is right now. They could be married, they could be whatever. I'm like, girl, be prepared to take care of a kid by yourself if ever need be. And it's sad that we think like that, but that's just how we're programmed. I gotta be prepared because I can't trust that he's...
Like, the females are already like, bro, I could do this without
by myself.
So they already pushing you away. And it'd be like, they thinking guys just want to stay away, but guys be like, bro, I'm that little attitude you created because I ain't feeling that. Like,
and I don't feel needed at times. It's almost kind of like there's no place for me to put my 10 toes down.
Yeah.
And you want me to keep 10 toes down.
And I was thinking about like, men expect females to take care of the kids, like females expect men to bust it up for them on their birthdays. That's just how I go. Like that's the expectation.
I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna lie to you.
How you get to birthday?
I'm just saying, like, I just thought about it. Like,
funny, you potting right now. You fucking potting right now. yo, y'all birthdays, yo. I ain't gonna lie. There's a couple out to
and they expect it. Like,
what?
It's no nothing.
What?
Like, this is what's supposed to be done. You supposed to do this. So men feel the same way. Like,
it's kind of like, yo,
baby mom, you supposed to do this. Like, you all of the mom stuff you supposed to do, but females be wanting that help. But it's like, you expect that just like you expect. Me to bust it up. I ain't saying, yo, alright, this yacht costs $2,500. Give me $500 or tell your friends to put.
But the difference between that is one is like that's like your responsibility. Like you created a kid, so it's like for you to say, yeah, I expect us to do this, this, and this. It's like, yeah, because you helped me make this. Now, the birthday situation, if you don't, she'll be mad. She'll have to get over it. But, like, if it's your responsibility to help me, you have to... There's no, like, oh, well, when you wanted me to make you breakfast, I did it. It's like, all right, and if you didn't, I would still be alive. But if you don't help me, I'm going to struggle. And that goes into my point earlier when I was saying that I think that some men are jealous of their child's mother and they intentionally want to see them fall flat on their ass.
Okay. So jealous in the sense of they want to see them do bad. They feel like they're going to do better without them. Like, what do you like? What's the source of the jealousy you feel like it is?
I think part of what he was saying earlier, like, I don't feel like you making me feel like I'm not really needed. That could be a start of it. Or they can just have that subconsciously, what you were saying, like, now I'm not going to be her main priority. Now it's going to be this baby. I don't know, whatever it is, but I just feel like when they realize, like, oh, she's doing it, like, oh, she actually is doing it without me. Oh, and she got that S550 Benz. Oh, and she just moved to that new high-rise building. I'm not giving you nothing. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And you laughing, but that's
what?
I'm
not giving you nothing. You got it.
That's crazy. That's
crazy. Y'all never seen? I mean, I'm speaking from like things that I've seen. Like I've seen.
No, because crazy, but no, you're right. There's big men out there with that same
energy.
But I think it goes back. Okay, finish.
No. That's pretty much it. Like just touching on like the jealousy aspect of being a deadbeat. It's just like you're jealous of her because she's actually doing well and she's doing well. She's doing well by herself. So now you feel like, oh well, you was on vacation last week. Why you need money for his school clothes?
I ain't gonna lie.
But that makes sense though.
No, it does.
If it was the other way around, if the guy's in, like I say, he's outside in the club all the day, all the time, he's outside spending money on girls, and he can't buy her dinner or he can't buy it, but if she's with you,
But you talking about a relationship. I'm talking
about
about
from a child
No, I'm
like
talking for a child, like
right. So if we have a kid, right,
Right.
and you out partying, I'm asking you for money, and you like, no, I'm not giving it to you. I'm like, but how? So but how can you go out and party and know your kid needs clothes for school or clothes for summer or clothes for camp,
vice
and you don't
versa.
buy it?
How can you go on vacation when you know your kid need that?
No,
'Cause
so
you're expecting him to do that.
What I'm saying is in a deadbeat aspect, meaning like he's not there anyway. So 365, I have him. I'm asking you for this. Like I do the.
Before you continue. All right. So what is the classifications of a deadbeat? Like when is it?
I didn't even think about it. That's a good question.
Like is it kind of like if we're talking about being a parent is 100%?
I think deadbeat is 10%.
That's it.
Like I'm thinking.
I'm gonna say like that's like so. If a man only do 10%,
That's
if you do 10% unless he a deadbeat. So if a nigga doing 33, he good.
I mean,
25?
no.
20? Like, 11 is crazy.
I say okay. I get your question.
Yeah.
So then I guess it's I guess there's like a spectrum because like I know someone that like their child's father might pick the kid up from school.
Okay.
Right, and like he thinks that equates to like him doing his part
Every day.
He's definitely doing his part.
Every day.
He's definitely doing it.
Not every
what
day,
else
but
should he be doing?
But you feel me?
I'm saying,
And then it goes into back to the film. Like, okay, pick him up from school, pick her up from school, and spend time.
Okay.
You get
Like
what I'm saying? But you're dropping your kid off. Like, so
do a little homework. You know what I'm saying? Buy a little ice cream. Like
something.
Like,
Go to Chuck E. Cheese. Like, so you can't think that driving in the car with them for 10 minutes while you bring them home, drop them off and go about your business can equate to somebody who your child lives in an apartment or a house or whatever, so they have shelter. This mother is also feeding them on a regular basis, clothing them on a regular basis. So if I'm asking you for $500 to buy their winter wardrobe, why is it matter that I was in Vegas last week? You still didn't do your part.
Okay,
that's what I'm talking about. Everybody has a part to play.
That's true.
So once you stop playing your part, that's when the deadbeat starts to kick in. So I'm like, if you're not picking up from school, if you're not spending time, if you're not giving money, you're falling under that category. Because there should be nothing that she should ask you for that you cannot do. Because if she's asking you for it, that means that she would do it. She would do it too.
Herself. Okay, I just want to, because naturally, like I've heard that. Not the snap. I've heard that label thrown out, but I just want to know to the extent because there's levels to it. Like from you being a present father to being a deadbeat, I think there's a lot of different parts of the opacity. Like we don't talk about like because some niggas out here giving 33. You know what I'm saying? And they compare niggas giving 80, and it's kind of like and they whole things like I'm not giving 10, and it's kind of like it shouldn't be that. You know, but it's important to like scale it in that way. So to move forward, right? In general, to kind of like avoid. You think there's a way to avoid women finding deadbeats? Like, do you think in a sense of like, do you know anybody that's planned a child that said like, we're gonna get to this certain amount of money, have this lifestyle, have this place, have this, and then have our child? Or do you think we just out here with a lot of like lust babies?
I
like,
think
that's how it started. I mean, but like you know how it go. Like people probably plan, but you know things change, bro.
Things change, yeah.
The lust babies, but
Lust babies got it.
Yo,
I think both. I think that the deadbeat, like I've seen someone that was amazing boyfriend. Everything was great. Of course, nothing was perfect, but nothing like extreme. Love each other, have a kid together. After the kid comes, I think when you brought that thought to me was now I'm not the focus anymore. I'm thinking in his case because I couldn't figure out what it was. I'm like, you guys had a great relationship, and then the baby came, and then it was just like turmoil. So it's like, what was it?
Yo, he lost his girl. Yo, that's a real.
And that's what I'm thinking.
But some people be emotional like that. Like some people is just men and women though. Like
it's like
people emotional. Like when they lose their significant other because that's who they love first. Yeah. So that's who you love first naturally. Right. So like when the baby comes, it's like, bro, we don't love each other no more. Like I don't.
It's a whole different.
It be like that. Like it's like it's both ways.
Yeah.
Every girl I've met or woman I've known that after they had a child, they're not the same person. I don't expect them to be neither.
Yeah.
But I think it's a space that you kind of got to fall back in love. But you have an infant.
Yeah, I think
that like I'm saying like and
then it's insecurities on themselves.
It's a whole different other.
That's like, be the main thing too. So it's like fix me up or get out of the way.
Because you gotta think about too, like your girl typed up, bro. She like she typed up, she looking right, and then even if you call like you beautiful, she don't feel beautiful. It changes dynamics. You know what I'm saying?
So you know,
because she see it, she noticed it. We all are biggest like critics. So we see all our flaws. Even when other people don't see it, you see it and it sticks in them. They're like, bro, I need that's all they focus. Sometimes females only focus on that, and sometimes and then men like. So it's like it goes both ways though.
I do.
I think I think like certain conversations and things should happen. Like, just like for me, what I think is like a learning experience for me from like what I'm seeing, like going to what you said about like you don't look the same. So I need somebody to see me like I'm a little fat right now, or I'm a little like for me this year personally, like in the summer I was 98 pounds.
Okay.
And I was so like I cried, and when I started speaking to the person I was speaking to, because we weren't speaking at the time, I almost didn't want to go around him because I'm like, he gonna think I'm like a crackhead. Like I lost so much weight. It wasn't because of him, by the way. I lost so much weight, and
So what's you, bro? You good, bro? You good, bro?
Yes,
you know, you gotta let him know. You gotta be assured.
It was because of the work, but I would want someone to see me like that, so that way, when if a child comes later on and he like, damn, you gained some weight, it's not like, damn, she don't look the same. Like I'm still not the same, but I still want you to appreciate me for me, and vice versa. Like I'm getting my weight back now, so you know I'm a little like, you know what I'm saying, but I feel like I want you to see me with my wig off. I need you to see me like looking, you know what Drake said, sweatpants, like I need you to see me that way, so that when you see me that way,
it's kind of.
You're not looking at me like, oh nah, she don't look good. Let me go find somebody that look better. Or I don't want to. Nah, this you take him to and fix this back up. I gotta go. I need you to ride this shot because I'm not gonna look the same. Like I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta appreciate that person. Like just because you look different, or just because you know your hair, you know, and women they lose their hair. Like so much happened, but like I want you to still don't like that bad bitch that you was on her body 2 years ago. I'm not saying bitch. Like don't think that because right now I'm a little. They gotta understand. Right now I'm going through something.
Which is it's beauty beyond skin deep.
You get what I'm saying? So I think certain conversations, certain experiences, certain like things should happen. Like certain bonding experiences should happen before a child comes to you. So you know, like, all right, I may have an attitude someday, but you can't come in like that little attitude you got. I'm not dealing with that.
I ain't gonna lie to you, but there's certain
attitudes
days,
that you can't deal with it.
Now there's certain days you have to let him get that off. Like there's certain days he gonna be like, you got it. But there's certain days you gonna be like, yo, we're not doing that shit.
Right,
today we're not doing that.
Yeah, but I'm saying
that's just nigga shit. Like I'll be honest. Like there's certain days like yo, like I might have a rough day too. I'm Black men in America. Like you know what I'm saying. I think there's certain aspects where I see a lot where we have trauma Olympics. Where it's kind of like, yo, my day was this, my day was this, and it's kind of like we're not even, like we're not even co-siding. We sitting here talking about who had the worst scars and shit, instead of like, hey, you went through that, and then try to better each other in that aspect.
And that's when it comes to too. It comes to co-parent and shit too. Like it's like it's almost like a competition too. Like so it's like, all right, you're not doing enough. Like so maybe you're Debbie because you ain't doing as much as I'm doing. Like,
and it's like.
What if he can't afford it? What if he can't? Or like, it'd be like that. So it'd be like, you know.
I think
like that comes off like the problems. Like, all right, I don't got it like this because I going through this and like no, but I go through this too. And I'm like, you trying to out struggle me? Like,
yeah. I think
we trying to out struggle each other.
I think we should. I mean, I can't say I don't have any children, but I think we should show grace. Mm-hmm. Like just going on like to that spectrum of like the opacity of what a deadbeat, like where does it fall? So it's like, all right, if maybe for the birthday you can only give, I'm saying as the child's father, like you can only give me $700. I can't say, I don't want to pre-speak because I don't know how I'm going to feel when I have my kid and you only give me $700. But if you can only give me $700, I would hope that I'm in a space where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna accept it. But if I feel like you only peeling it off because you want to be stingy, then it's different. But if I feel like this is what you have, I'm gonna take it. Like you still doing something. If you could pick my kid up from school, you spending time with my kid, but you can't always give me money every month. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Because like I said, I'm gonna always look. I have to be there for my kid, even if he's not. So I'm not gonna knock somebody's head off just because they can't pick them up from school, but they can do this, and this. Like, that doesn't make you Debbie because you can't do one or two things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think as the mom, yes, we know that they have majority of the responsibility, but I think that we should also show grace to the fathers that still, like, do a good amount, even if a couple of things are missing. You know? I see a lot of men, some men, they out here doing the damn thing for their kid. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I do see it. And I'm like, okay, it's getting a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, like, people are starting to realize, like, nah, like we said, like, handling my business, like, that's grown man. Like, that's how I would never talk to a guy that I know is not taking care of his kid. I don't care if it's a celebrity. It could be whoever. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
It's a character flaw.
I love seeing men with their kids. You know, if I'm doing something like, yo, Mikey, come. Oh, sorry. You know, I'm telling him, like, let's do something with the kid. My sister, you know, they're the same age, you know, so let's do something with the kids. Or I'm like, I'm gonna go here. All right, let me know. I'm gonna get me. Like, it's always like, it's never. There's no. I call them like, there's no weekend dads, right? Like, there's no weekend. There's no like, oh, I have them Monday through Friday, and then he had them on the weekend. It's like, nah, we split. If there was an event on Thursday, I'll take her. If it's a school project that on Monday I gotta go to a school trip on Monday, I'm going. I remember my mother never came on none of my school trips. It was always my dad.
You was hype. I ain't gonna lie.
What?
You gonna get best friend.
You know, so we gotta show them men that are doing it some grace. Like my guy here, even though he dead.
Your pops trying to pull a teacher. That's another story, you heard?
Listen, two things can be right. I think two things can be right. You want to show off for your daughter, but you also want to understand, like, yo, I'm trying to see what the field looking like. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm gonna help her give you a good grade. Like, what you mean? Like, all right.
Ooh, Mikey.
Oh,
damn.
You good, bro?
That's the second time I caught it the first time.
Nah, it's all good.
Because it's heavy.
Yeah, it's the string too. It's under our foot counter, so it's like.
It's cool. I'm gonna edit that shit out. You got
okay.
My fault, y'all.
Nah, yeah. All right, I guess. See, look at. All right, last question, right? So, do you think that we should have like a parenting college or parenting schooling before we get into these spaces? Because some of the stuff you're talking about, I think. Money-wise, sometimes, like, even in our community, financial literacy isn't taught enough.
Yeah. Because
I've seen in moments where there are people that have children together, and I know men that have a certain amount of money, but they're like, yo, I got this money to go make a play. Like, this is not disposable income. Yeah. Like, don't look at my tax return and think about what I'm playing with. Like, I'm trying to make these plays so we can go do this and do this and do that. Exactly. And I know certain like, yo, I'm not giving you a rack to go buy Gucci right now for my child that's going to grow out of it. They like, if it's something important, like, this kind of innocent bill, all right, cool.
Right.
If it's the mortgage, cool. But sometimes I think it's a difference of lifestyles. We may deem certain things more important than others.
Yeah.
For sure.
So do you, like, matter of fact, Aldrada, what's some of the best advice you would want to give just to the people about not being a deadbeat, or some of the best things you think it is to be a parent?
You want me to go first or you?
Go ahead.
I'll go first. I think for me, this is something I think I want to do personally, just because like I don't have any children yet. Like I said, like a lot of what I'm seeing is like just like a pre-learning experience, like something that I would try my best to like not happen to me, because I think in some case, I think it's inevitable. Like you just don't know a person until you know a person. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've seen my people that I know, like great relationship and everything, and then the baby came in and it's just like, what happened? Like, how are y'all so like, you know what I'm saying now? So one of the things I think that I would like to do, like if I'm with someone, like going into the finances, like you were saying, is like, let's kind of pull our finances together subtly. Like, you know, like maybe 20% of my check, 20% of what you bring in. Notice I didn't say check because we don't know where the money's coming from. But let's put the money together and let's see how we can like function. Like even if we live separate, like even if I have my own apartment, you have yours, let's pull some money together. So like if we want to go to do date night, or if you want to get a haircut, I want to get my nails done. Like we have a pool of money to come out that we're putting in together. So like we're kind of like taking care of each other in some sense. You know, I think like those kind of things should start. Even people feel like, oh, you can only put your income together if y'all living together. Me personally, I don't think I really want to like live with a man, but I feel like I can, especially if I want to have children, because obviously I would want my kids to live in one, you know, in the same house with their father. But I think even like if I'm just with someone, I think I would want us to kind of like pull our finances together, just so like money isn't a strain. Like we know, like I know what you bring in, you know what I'm bringing in. I feel like that might alleviate like that one check mark that might cause an issue later down in life, you know.
Have some prerequisites, so we kind of like,
and
it's important to do things together that are uncomfortable at times. So once you get in that situation, you know,
right? Because money is gonna come up. That's the most important. I need to know, like, can you afford? And one thing I also with this finances too, what my previous person told me was, if you are gonna move in with someone, to live off of the person who makes the less income, right? So like if I make 40,000 and he makes 60, together obviously it's 100.
But manage it with the 40.
Because that way if I lose my job,
you still feel like y'all good.
We like, and you got to take care of it. At least you can take care of it. But if we living off of my salary and I fall off, you can't. You know what I'm saying? And then that will come. But people like to just say, well, he make all the money, so let's let him get the apartment, get the house, whatever, and we live off for that. But it's like, okay, if he falls short,
it creates a.
Then it's an issue. Now you can't afford that. You got to go back to your mother's house, and he going where he going, and then, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's real.
So I think like pulling it together and operating off of the person. If y'all living together, operate off the person who makes less. But I think money should come together before children come to play. Yeah, like
I think that's important. I think we at times to piggyback is that we don't connect prior to the children. Like we live in our own lifestyles, and a child comes and it's like, damn,
yeah,
how you about to do this? and there's moments where it's kind of like you're not putting yourself in a position to succeed.
Yeah,
you're just trying to like piggyback off of it. And it's like, yo, it can't.
Yeah,
we need more positions in that aspect for it to kind of. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Because you're not every day. Like you're amazing.
Yeah,
guy,
so like I don't got no advices, bro. Just take your time. I don't know. I don't know, like, cause it's like you can't teach nobody how to love. So it's like people do. I don't know. You gotta. I don't know.
You don't know how to be a good dad.
No, I'm just
saying.
I don't
Know.
I can't explain it. Like I love my child, so like I'm gonna do whatever.
You gotta do
forever. It. Like there's no question. Like, and that's what you do for people you love. So it's like. Love them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's real.
I mean, yeah, you should. I mean, that's also too. I think like if you can't take care of your kid, if you could have your baby mother struggle, there's no way you love your kid.
Right.
Because if I'm homeless, we gotta go to a shelter. Like, you're okay with us going in a shelter. You're okay with me sleeping on somebody's couch. Like you're okay with that. When you have the ability to help me, you're not. So how do you love your kid? Okay, you don't love me, but
I seen this stat that kind of messed my head up. They said like back in the day, only 40% of men were allowed, or not allowed, but reproduced. But 80% of women got pregnant.
Yeah,
so it's almost so hypergamy, but it's also like an elitist mentality. Was like only a certain amount of men were viewed valuable enough to reproduce. So I just think in general we're not used to the space of like the quote unquote all men having children.
Yeah. And
in that space, if you do it on the math, then all those 80% of women that had children are going to be in the same household that 40%. So I think there's a lot of different aspects of like poly and then monogamy and things that we need to have those conversations.
Yeah.
Because with all due respect, like, and I got bros that their father wasn't there, but it's kind of like, with all due respect, your mom might have been the other one.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's a lot of different dynamics where
the father is
no matter how you look at it, it's probably like he probably was a good father to the ones in his household, but not the ones outside.
Yeah.
And that and those things get passed on. So I think that's a different space. But that's a conversation for another day, man. That's a great episode. I like this one a lot.
It was good. Thank you for having us. That was great. Yeah, make sure you guys March 11, 2023. You buy your tickets at MalayaB.com or on my Instagram, which is at May with 4 Ys_B. Purchase your tickets. It's open bars, open food. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really.
And I'll be there.
Yeah, and he'll
get autographs.
Autographs.
It's gonna be lit though. So
I'll get the posters, man.
March 11th.
Posters, make a magazine, do all that, man.
Yeah, we're gonna do everything.
You're gonna want to see this movie.
Yeah, you're gonna see him. He was on his Morris Chestnut shit for real.
Later, bro. All right.
Peace out.
Thank you for tuning into Moment Clarity Podcast. Hopefully this episode brought you some type of value, gave you a different perspective, or at least made you laugh. Please like and subscribe. If you have any subjects or topics you want us to discuss, please feel free to DM us.